Okay, well, everybody, we want to welcome the DNC to Brooklyn. And I want to thank our Brooklyn United marching band for doing a great job. I want to thank the members of our armed forces who greeted us, including one of them went to Madison High School. I asked them all where they went. And I want to thank so many of our elected officials who you'll hear from in a short while. But at the top of the list, I want to thank Mayor de Blasio. He conceived this idea. He's been all behind it, and he's hosting a whole lot of things, and he's done a great job in focusing on not only Brooklyn, but the 5 boroughs of New York City. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and I'll introduce many of the people in a minute. First, I want to say that Brooklyn's a special place. I've called it home for 63 years. I'm proud to be the first senator from Brooklyn in over a century. They didn't have a senator from Brooklyn since the 1800s. Over the last century, people born and raised in Brooklyn have sallied forth across the nation and done great things, whether it's in the arts or the sciences or entertainment. My high school alone, Madison High School, had 3 senators at one point, a Republican, an Independent, and a Democrat. We have a Supreme Court justice, several Pulitzer Prize and Nobel Prize winners, and Chris Rock, all from one high school in Brooklyn. So there's something special in the air in Brooklyn, and every one of the delegates will breathe it and go away better for it. And while it may not have been described this way when I grew up and went off to college, Brooklyn has become hip, cool, and young, just like their senator. But in all seriousness, Brooklyn represents the future, just like the Democratic Party. Now, people say that Philadelphia is our other major contender. Philly's a nice city, but it ain't Brooklyn and it ain't New York City. Right. Let me say that. Here are some of the highlights we want to impress the delegates with. First, Brooklyn is back and better than ever. We've gone from 2.2 million people 20 years ago to 2.8 million people today. No other city in America can boast that. And not only is it an increase in people, but they come from all over the globe. They're from every country. They're every ethnic background, every racial background, every religious background. And we all live and work together. Brooklynites are everything that's America. The depth and diversity of Brooklyn's unparalleled. In my old congressional district, there was one elementary school that spoke 47 languages. They had ESL for 47 languages. No place can top that diversity. And there's no better place to see a wide range of ethnic neighborhoods than Brooklyn. It's almost as if you had major cities from every part of the world all in one place. You can experience Polish culture in Greenpoint, Italian culture in Bensonhurst, Caribbean culture in Flatbush, Russian culture in Brighton Beach, Chinese culture in Sunset Park, African American culture in Bed-Stuy, Jewish culture in Borough Park, Irish culture in Bay Ridge, Latino culture in Bushwick, and even the rarely seen hipster culture in Williamsburg. And these are not little tiny enclaves. Each community is as large as a city in the homeland of the people from where they came. And even better than the diversity itself is that everyone lives and works together happily, shoulder to shoulder. And of course, let's not forget about the benefits of Barclay Center. And unlike Sarah Palin, I can truthfully say that I can see Barclay's Center from my living room window. I don't live too far away. I want the delegates and selection committee to take a close look at the endless benefits and amenities that could come from this multi-purpose arena. It's brand new. It opened in 2012. It makes this complex state-of-the-art all around in technology, amenities, and more, and we'll hear more from Bruce Ratner about that. Plus, Barclay could not be more accessible and connected to all the other boroughs, Long Island and beyond, thanks to New York City's top-flight transit system. The transit hub right below us has 11 subway lines, a commuter rail line, and it's going to be a key asset for this convention. Now, what about the attractions of Brooklyn? For potential guests of the DNC, they're endless. From thriving restaurant scene to historic sites, museums and parks, to sports and entertainment and more, Brooklyn and New York City have it all. I'll give you just a few of my favorites. Brooklyn Bridge Park, which you'll visit, delegates, in a little while, is one of the most beautiful new parks you have ever seen, with jaw-dropping views of Manhattan skyline. Prospect Park, not too far that way, was regarded by Olmsted and Vaux as their masterpiece. They practiced on Central Park, and when they got it right, they built Prospect Park. There's a tremendous amount to see and do. The towering brownstones of Brooklyn Heights all the way to the sand at Coney Island. And Coney Island has both one of the oldest roller coasters in the world and one of the newest. The new one's called the Thunderbolt. It goes down straight at 90 degrees. On opening day, they asked me to ride on it. I said no, but some of you delegates might want to try it. Coney Island, so I'm getting a little, you want to go to a good ball game, you don't have to go to Yankee Stadium, although we love our Yankees and our Mets. There's Brooklyn Cyclone Field. It's minor league baseball in Brooklyn, but it's not just like any minor league ballpark. You look out over the outfield and you see the expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. And you look to your right and you see the giant 200-foot steeplechase tower, a national historic in the National Historic Register, 200 feet up. When you go there, and I recommend this to the delegates who will come, we know they'll come, you may want to go to one of my favorite places in Brooklyn, outside Cyclone Field. It's the statue of Pee Wee Reese with his arm around Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He was booed in Cincinnati, in one of the states that's competing with us. And Pee Wee Reese from Kentucky quietly walked over from shortstop to first base, put his arm around Jackie, stared at the crowd, and they shut up. It was a great moment in American history. It's embodied in that wonderful, beautiful statue, which I often visit on early Saturday mornings. How about Marine Park basketball court? Go visit a basketball court, delegates. You'll see people of every background playing better basketball than almost any place else, and all working together. And I want to say something about one of the criticisms I've heard one of those other cities and its former governor make. He says the hotels in Midtown Manhattan are too far away. He hasn't been to New York City in a long time. New York City's Department of Transportation is second to none. I have no doubt, led by Polly Trottenberg and our MTA, they'll put a great plan in place to ensure a smooth flow of delegates. They've already arranged no traffic alleyways and designated ferries between Brooklyn and Manhattan, and our subway system, as you know, is second to none. The hub here at Atlantic Avenue is as big as Grand Central, receives every train in the city. And I want to say this to the delegates. I was proud to attend the conventions in Chicago, LA, and Charlotte. I know this area well because I live a few blocks away. The Midtown Manhattan hotels are a lot closer to the Barclay Center than the convention centers in Chicago and Los Angeles and North Carolina were to their hotels. So this idea that there aren't enough hotels nearby is gobbledygook. I remember sitting in Los Angeles traffic. I remember those long bus rides in Chicago. There's going to be nothing like it. You're going to have a 15-minute ride right down the street, right over the Manhattan Bridge to here if you're in a hotel in Manhattan. And, of course, we would recommend you take the subway, which is also about a 15-minute ride. Brooklyn has one final advantage. We are in touch with our future generations and future needs. It is old school. Brooklyn is old school. From Jackie Gleason to Peter Lugers to Barbara Streisand to Big Daddy Kane. And it's new school, from Lena Dunham to the grocery to Etsy. And it is the future school for millions of Americans, new Americans, young migrating Americans who are flooding here to eat, think, create, laugh, love, and work in an environment that is tolerant, fertile, and exhilarating. Now, the energy is combustible. Now, it's no secret Brooklyn went through tough times. In the 50s, 60s, and 70s, many said Brooklyn's best days were behind it. But Brooklyn came roaring back, bigger and better than before, with a great future for America. Having a convention here is a metaphor for America in 2014, because some say, like they said about Brooklyn, that America's best days are behind it. But just like Brooklyn is roaring back, America's roaring back, led by Democrats at a Democratic convention in 2016. In conclusion, I can think of no better place to fuel and launch the Democrats' drive for the White House in 2016 than right here in my blessed and beloved home, Brooklyn, New York. And now, I had so much, I cut out about 3/4 of this speech. I have so much to say about Brooklyn. You wouldn't believe it, it's true. Okay, we have some speakers here, and we're first going to hear from Alicia Glenn, who is our Deputy Mayor for Economic Development. She's done a great job in many ways at helping bring new jobs to New York City, and she's leading our charge in helping the mayor bring the convention here. Alicia. Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Who's it? I'm going to give this to you. I forgot. They give me a prop. How could I forget? I'm Chuck Schumer. This is a shirt that I'm giving to Miss Lacey. It says, Brooklyn as America. Brooklyn is America. Brooklyn2016.com. Where it's out.
Thank you. Wow, Senator Schumer, you're always a tough act to follow, but thank you for those kind words, and it's so exciting to be here in your neighborhood. On behalf of Mayor de Blasio, we want to welcome all of the members of the selection committee and everybody in the DNC. I cannot tell you how excited the mayor is, and as you know, he is also a major Brooklynite. Doesn't have 63 years under his belt, but maybe he'll have another 50 to come. So thank you so much for joining us here today. And we really do want to emphasize that this is about the 5 boroughs. This whole bid to host a convention is to make sure that we can leverage all of the assets, all of the venues from across all 5 amazing boroughs here in New York, and to share those benefits as well across all these boroughs. As you all know, New York City is simply unrivaled nationally with respect to being able to host this convention. We already talked about what the senator so eloquently said was the gobbledygook with respect to our hotels. We have 105,000 hotel rooms which will be online by the end of 2014 alone, with another 2,000 coming online by 2017. We have the most extensive transportation network in the United States, where we can move delegates between venues, between boroughs, so that everybody really has an opportunity to experience everything New York has to offer. There is simply no other city in the United States that can do this. And we know we can do it. From the previous conventions to our most recent wonderful event, the Super Bowl, we proved that we're not just talking the talk, we're walking the walk and making this an experience for all New Yorkers. And you know what? This also makes sense for New York City. Whatever resources we invest in this convention, we will get a return on our investment in the hundreds of millions of dollars. We'll have tens of thousands of additional visitors, and that will provide not just short-term economic gains for this neighborhood and the neighborhoods where other venues that the events will take place, but it's going to have a lasting impact on demonstrating to the world and visitors domestically that New York City is the single best place in New York to come and spend some time. So this isn't just about our short-term economic gain, it's about our long-term economic development strategy to highlight all 5 boroughs. So I want to thank all of our elected officials, all of the wonderful people in the de Blasio administration who have worked so hard to make today possible. And I think we would just say that this is going to have a benefit to New York City that I would have to say is truly priceless. So thank you again, and we look forward to hosting you in 2016.
Thank you, Alicia. One of the things about New York, we are the safest of the 25 metropolitan areas, largest metropolitan areas in New York. Sorry, I'm very New York-centric. Of the 25 largest metropolitan areas in the United States, you know which is the safest? Not the second safest, not the third safest, but the safest, the lowest crime rate, New York City. And that's been done by a whole lot of different reasons, but one of them is our great police commissioner who helped reduce crime in the 90s and is back to make sure it stays low in 2016 and the years beyond, Commissioner Bill Bratton.
Thank you, son. Thank you. He does love New York, doesn't he? Yeah. And particularly Brooklyn. To the committee members who are here for the next several days to visit with us, welcome. Enjoy your time with us, and I think when you leave, you'll understand that we are the city where you should be for the upcoming convention. That the NYPD is part and parcel of this city's efforts to ensure that it will be safe, it will be secure, and that the transportation issues will be facilitated. We have the ability to focus the efforts of over 12,000 police officers and thousands of traffic agents, many of whom you saw on your ride over here this morning, on this event. I say 12,000 because that number of officers in this one city police department exceeds the size of the police forces in Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia. And it's only a small part of our 35,000 officers and 5,000 traffic agents that the city is able to commit to an event of this type. We entertain every year 56 million tourists. We entertain every year significant conferences and conventions, and we will look forward certainly to providing a safe, secure conference for the Democratic National Convention. We hope and we expect that you will come to New York and enjoy. All the best.
Thank you, Commissioner. Great job he does. Now, as I said, New York is the most diverse city in the world. About a third of our residents were not born here. We believe in immigration. We believe in immigrants. People came from all over, and many came from a different part of the United States called Puerto Rico. Our city council president, speaker of the city council, came to New York at 18 from Puerto Rico and symbolizes the people from around the United States and around the globe who come here, help New York grow, make it its home, and live together in great happiness and diversity. Melissa Mark Viverito.
Thank you, Senator, and we're joined by my colleague, Lori Cumbo, who represents this area. It's an honor to join all my colleagues in government and all the great leaders from New York City who are all here to send a simple message that New York City and Brooklyn would be the perfect host for the Democratic National Convention in 2016. New York has the infrastructure, New York has the facilities, and New York has the right story to tell. That's because Brooklyn's story is America's story. Brooklyn is where George Washington stared down the British. Brooklyn is where Jackie Robinson first took the field and changed American history forever. Brooklyn is where the country's middle class was born. And Brooklyn is where the melting pot of America resides. It's a place where people from all over have come for a better life. This borough is a thriving, vibrant, and diverse community. Brooklyn is home to leaders in business, culture, media, the arts, education, nonprofits, and many others. Brooklyn is just cool. And I believe that many of the reporters here are probably from Brooklyn and can attest to that as well. But these reasons are why Brooklyn is an American success story. Some may have written Brooklyn and New York off years ago, but New Yorkers and Brooklynites never did. Indeed, this bid is reflective of New York's progress and cooperation. From where I come from and what I represent, El Barrio, East Harlem, up to the Bronx, Queens, and Manhattan, we are one city that has worked together to achieve great things. This borough and the city encapsulates our nation's values. New Yorkers believe in working hard. New Yorkers believe in giving everyone an equal shot, regardless of birth or zip code, to succeed. New Yorkers believe in equality. New Yorkers believe that our strength as a nation comes from our diversity. And New Yorkers believe that we must all work together to leave a country and future to our children. These are the core values of the Democratic Party. And here in New York, so you can see that this is not only in our values, but also in the actions we've taken. We've passed marriage equality. We've pushed forward in immigration reform measures at the local level, while Republicans have blocked it in Congress. And we've passed common sense gun control laws that will make us safer. New York is where Democratic values are more than words. It's where Democrats have achieved real, meaningful progress that has made people's lives better. That is why, in 2016, the Democratic Party, the party of the middle class, should hold its convention in the home of the middle class. When you look at the face of the Democratic Party, you see New York City. So come 2016, Democratic National Committee, look no further than Brooklyn, New York, to nominate the Democrat who will go on to be the next president of the United States. And if I could just say one quote, because I know there's Spanish press, just very quickly, que gracias a todos por estar aquí hoy. Es un honor estar aquí unidos con tantos líderes de nuestra ciudad. Y aquí estamos para enviar un mensaje claro y simple y directo, que Nueva York y Brooklyn sería el lugar perfecto para tener la Convención Nacional Demócrata en el 2016. Con tanta historia que está aquí en Brooklyn, este es el lugar perfecto. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Okay, the person who conceived the Barclay Center and persisted despite many barriers put in his way, and now everyone's proud of this great, great, great arena, one of the greatest and newest and best in the country, is Bruce Ratner. Originally, another immigrant, originally from Cleveland, but now a proud New Yorker.
And I was very excited when Cleveland got the Republican convention, but this is much more exciting. This is the most exciting thing I could imagine. So thank you, Senator, and the Mayor, Alicia, and the leader. Thank you so much all for being here today, and this is a very, very important day. I want to talk a little bit, though, about the arena and why it has so many advantages. I could talk forever about my beloved Brooklyn and New York City, but a whole bunch of things. First of all, the success. This arena has been #1 in ticket sales and revenues in this country for the last year and a half. It's #2 in the world. And it is that way in part because of the iconic architecture. You've seen it all over the world. This will be a world stage when the convention comes here, and this is what people will see. They will think of the architecture, think of bird's nests for the arena. That is very important. Next, the employees. Our employees, 80% are from Brooklyn, 30% are from the local community projects, housing projects around the arena.
Nice.
We are known best for the way in which our employees treat our patrons. That's the most important thing about what we do. We are all union. This building was built all union. We are an all union company. Everybody who works there is union. Food. Brooklyn is known for food. I'm known for food. We found 55 vendors from Brooklyn to serve food during the arena. It's never been done in any public facility before. 55 of the best foods that we have in our community. Next is community. We're so lucky to have the Daughtries who have been involved in this arena from the beginning. They put together a list of 300 community groups that give free tickets. They've given out over 20,000 free tickets. Those community groups can be called together in a second for all of the kind of information that's needed for all of us. Next, this is a public-private partnership between the city, the state, and of course a private development company. Last, I'd like to talk about memories. When we opened this up, this was all about memories. Memories of Barbra Streisand, memories of Jay-Z. We opened up with so many great acts, Rolling Stones and so on. But I'll never forget, on the very opening, on the 8th concert, sold-out concert by Jay-Z, what he said. He said, here is a kid from Brooklyn that lived about a mile away, grew up here, and look what he's become because of hard work. And he said, that's what America's about, that's what the state of New York is about, that's what Brooklyn is about. And I turn to these kids over here, that is what Brooklyn and that's what America's about. It's about opportunity and really making it. We have a Jay-Z, we have a scientist right here in back of us. So we're glad you're here, thank you. I'm so glad to be here, thank you.
Now, Amy Dacey is the head of the DNC, she's the CEO. She's going to be very impartial. But I do want to say she was born in Auburn, New York, and attended one of the greatest institutions, undergraduate institutions of higher learning at SUNY Binghamton. But she's done a great job at the DNC. She works very hard, and we know they're going to make the right choice, given that Amy is so hardworking, fair, and down the middle. Amy.
Thank you so much. Good morning, New York. We are happy to be here. I want to thank the Senator. I want to thank the Mayor and his team and the City Council for hosting us for the next 2 days here in New York. The city team came to DC about a month ago and presented to us a proposal to host the Democratic Convention here in New York. And we, of course, wanted to do a site visit to see everything firsthand. The DNC is very serious about this. We know that in 2016, we will be nominating the 45th President of the United States, and it's a very important task ahead of us. So we'll be spending the next 2 days in a working meetings to talk about finance, logistics, and how we can build the strongest convention possible for 2016. I want to again thank everybody. Yes, I will be impartial, but that's because Auburn, New York didn't put a bid in. But I just want to thank everybody again. We're looking forward to the next 2 days and really having some really great, strong conversations. And again, appreciate your hospitality. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Amy. And now, another Brooklynite has risen to great heights, our public advocate, Tish James.
Good afternoon and welcome to Brooklyn, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to stand before you as a proud New Yorker and even a prouder Brooklyn Democrat. As the fight for the DNC convention continues, I cannot help but feel that pride grow, knowing that our national party may have the chance to celebrate our national leaders here in this borough where I was born. Diversity isn't a theoretical concept. It's a reality in Brooklyn. Walking these streets each and every day and living a day in the life of a New Yorker means seeing cultural diversity face to face every day. It means your work, your social life, and yes, even your politics are immersed in the unique cultures and strong pride of this city's men and women. We don't just speak about the beauty of diversity, we live it. We are at the forefront of proving that our city and our country are stronger, not weaker because of the unique traits of our citizens. This is a place in our nation where progress is real. After 2 decades of Republican rule, we didn't elect Democrats. We instituted a wave of a progressive movement across all 5 boroughs. And we have sent a clear message that our New York is open for progress, and we don't plan on stopping that progress from growing. We are the home of the national fight to empower workers and to protect our families, and particularly our children. We stand with fast food workers and other laborers to ensure that they have a living wage. We support unions and their fight to pave the way for an expanding middle class. We are the safest large city in America because we continue to increase our forces while still trying to ensure the relationship with the community grows. We fight to protect families by passing legislation for paid sick leave and providing universal school lunch. We are a city that understands when our workers, our families, and our children are healthy, then the city is set up for success, not failure. Now, we have our challenges like any other city, and we acknowledge them, and we're going to work to address them. But we make sure that prosperity finds its way into the hallways of our schools, the conference room of our offices, and the homes of our citizens. Bringing the convention to Brooklyn will mean the conversation to spotlight and address the issue of income inequality will be highlighted in a place where solutions already have been found. Whether you live in rural Ohio or downtown Los Angeles, the successes of New York City are successes you can implement across the city. And as I said in yesterday, Brooklyn is the hottest borough on the planet, and we urge the DNC to come and celebrate all that we love. Thank you.
Now we have our 3rd citywide elected official. There's the mayor, there's the public advocate, and there's someone who's doing just a great job as controller, who came from Manhattan, now represents the whole city, the whole 5 boroughs that we're trying to emphasize in this wonderful, wonderful convention, and that is Scott Stringer, our controller.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you, Senator Schumer, for convening us today. I'm proud to stand with everybody to say that the Democratic National Committee needs to come back to New York City. New York has a proud tradition of hosting DNC conventions. In the 19th century, we hosted the first post-Civil War convention at Union Square. And in the 20th century, Madison Square Garden played host 5 times. As President Franklin Roosevelt said, no campaign can possibly be complete without this great garden meeting. But in the 21st century, a New York City convention goes far beyond Midtown Manhattan. It's a 5-borough effort, and it's centered right here in the cultural, economic, and political capital of Brooklyn. So what I would say to you, Amy, is the following. As the person in the city who watches the financial bottom line, we have a strong economy for you to come to be part of our city. We have a police department that's used to the biggest events in the world in making sure we are safe. And the mayor has put together a host committee that has the skills to pay the bills. We are ready for you. We're ready for the next Democratic president. And in Brooklyn, you will not just have a successful convention, but you will have a backdrop every single evening of this convention when the world is watching to say that diversity, aspiration, opportunity, the kind of things that every parent wants for their kids will be highlighted during the Democratic National Convention. Please come, we're ready. Thank you very much.
Okay, Scott, we have 2 more speakers. One is the council member from this district, just elected, done a great job has a great future ahead of her. Lori Cumbo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to welcome you to my district, the coolest, sexiest, most happening district in all of New York City. And I just want to start by all of us giving a warm applause to those young people that performed so brilliantly just a little while ago. Do you all want to see, right? Do you all want to see the DNC in Brooklyn, New York 2016? All right. The energy is certainly in this district. We represented and birthed the concept of cool. We have swag on lockdown. We have the most beautiful elected officials, deputy commissioners, deputy mayors. We have it all here in Brooklyn, New York. This is the place where talent is birthed. This is the place where dreams come true. And I can think of no better place than to host that right here. So I am more than happy to welcome you to our district. We have 2 days lined up that after you spend time here, you're not going to want to leave. And that's the goal, and we want to make sure that happens. So what I just want to say to you is, the convention anywhere else in the United States of America is just going to be And I just want to say on top of that, we want you to find out why exactly every club, every young person has in their ear a song that says, "Where's Brooklyn at?" and "Is Brooklyn in the house?" We want you to find out what everybody's talking about, and we want to make history right here. This is going to be epic. People are going to talk about this for generations. So I welcome you to my district. I'm so proud to be here today, and we can't wait to see you in 2016. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Spoken like a true Brooklynite. Frank Sedio is our Democratic district leader here. He reminds me, he's not going to speak, but he reminds me that Brooklyn is the largest Democratic county in the country. Democrats? Okay, last but not least, batting cleanup. In Brooklyn, we have a lot of batters before we get to the cleanup order. Is somebody who's just taken over as borough president, but did a great job as state senator. He was my state senator from where I live, and he is everywhere representing. It's hard to represent 2.8 million people that are so diverse. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of gumption, and a lot of energy. He has it all and is off to a great start. Eric Adams, last speaker, our borough president of Brooklyn.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. That's a Brooklyn chair. That's the Brooklyn chair. That's the Brooklyn chair. You know, 2016, having the convention come to the County of Kings is the right way to go, and it is extremely emotional for me because these are the same streets that I patrolled as a police officer, and I remember that people wrote off this borough like they wrote off America. They thought America would crumble and go away after September 11th, and we came back stronger and more resilient in the process, and that's the message of Brooklyn. The Pee Wee Reese statue of having him hug Jackie Robinson is symbolic of America hugging the various cultures and groups that makes up this great country. There's no other place where the welcome mat has been loud and clear with the symbolic lady that stands in our harbor telling all groups to come here. Brooklyn looks like America, and America looks like the energy of the Democratic Party, and we're hoping that it's clear that in 2016 they come to the County of Kings. Bring the convention here. Thank you.
Good job, Eric. Okay. We'll now take a few questions only on topic. You know, what's really important is representing the future. No place, no competitor represents the future like Brooklyn. And the Democratic Party is the future of the country. We don't want to go backward as the Republicans do. We want to go forward. And so there is no better place than Brooklyn, New York for the convention. Well, Hillary Clinton, it's been in the newspaper, wants it in Brooklyn. And she walked the streets of Brooklyn with me when she first campaigned. And I think she would be so happy if we had the convention in Brooklyn. On this subject, yeah. Okay, we have more hotel space than any other city and more hotel space close to a convention center than any other city. Plain and simple. And we are one city. We in Brooklyn every day, 1 million people take the train right into Manhattan. And so to say we don't have hotel space is a canard. We have better hotel space than any other city, and it's closer to the convention center than it has been in most of the other cities. Believe me, I was there and sat in the traffic in LA, sat on the buses in Chicago, tried to find my way around Charlotte and all those highways. Brooklyn is the best place for people to find a diversity of lodging right near the convention center. Swing state, let me just say, Pennsylvania and New York are both blue states. That is true. But we are appealing. You win elections these days by appealing to the voters. The best way to appeal to the voters in America, they want a bright future. They want the American dream, symbolized by the lady in our harbor, to burn brightly. There is no place that says the American dream burns brightly better than Brooklyn. Like America, they counted us out. But we came back, and America's going to come back, and the convention's going to symbolize that. That knocks anything that Pennsylvania, Ohio, or Arizona could say. You want to talk about transportation, Commissioner?
Transportation. There it is. 2, 3, 4, 5, B, Q, D, N, R, L, I, R, R. Good Democrats all?
Showing the diversity of New York,
Okay.
He says it all in a Boston accent. L-I-R-R.
I have a special affinity for the subways, as you know. But also we have, as we demonstrated this morning, we anticipated a 15-minute ride here with the dedicated travel lanes that we will commit to during this convention. Got here in about 14 minutes. And so we have exhibited clearly that this city, because it is one city, one police force, not multiple police agencies, that we can do it all. New York is the place to be, quite clear and simple. We can move you, we can keep you safe while you're moving, we can entertain you while you're moving, we can do it all.
Can teach. Diversity, we should all get along and work hard together, and optimism, the belief in the future. No matter when they count you out, you keep at it because you'll come out on top. That's true of Brooklyn, and it's becoming true of America as Democrats lead America. Emily. Well, you'll have to ask them. They're going to be here for 2 days, but I am certain when they see the kind of transportation network we have here in New York City and in Brooklyn, there's no question. There's not even a contest how we can move. We move 3 million people on and off Manhattan every day just through the subway system. Another 1 million on commuter rails. We are expert at moving people quickly, conveniently, and comfortably, better than any other place.
Senator, do you think we would have had a better chance if we planted in Madison Square Garden?
No. Brooklyn's the future. This is the future. I like Madison Square Garden. I attended a convention there and had a great time as a congressman. But there is no more modern convention center than this. And as I said, it represents the future. America in 2016 is not going to be looking at the past. They're not even going to be looking at the present. They're going to be looking at the future. Brooklyn, throughout America, symbolizes a resurgent future. Marcia? Well, Alicia, you want to answer that? Alicia, our economic development.
Marcia, we don't have all of the details yet on the number of delegates or even the number of days a convention will be here, but based on our analysis of the 2004 convention, we're looking at a return on investment of at least 10 times based on what the city would be contributing versus the overall revenue generated by the Well, the RNC generated about $250 million of net economic activity in 2004, so we can expect at least that, if not more, when you look at the math and the size of what this convention is expected to generate.
And even for a big place like New York or Brooklyn, that's a lot of money. We'll take one more question. You'll have to ask the delegates. We're just selling them on Brooklyn. They're going to have to weigh everything else. Thank you, everybody. We're going inside now they're going to see this great Barclay Center.
Great job.
Thank you.